Vanakkam, this is Inayathinnai. This was started in the pandemic times. Inayam means, kind of the cloud, and Thinnai in our kind of Tamil language. Thinnai is used to be a small platform outside the house where we could sit down and have an informal chat. So this Inayathinnai or courtyard in the cloud was a platform to share our experiences, to inspire others, to learn new skills, and really kind of grow together with these difficult times. And today we have with us a cycling duo, Dr. Maninder Singh Kalkat and Ravinder, two wonderful consultants from the West Midlands. I should say their adventures and their cycling pictures have been amazing to look at. I want to see if they could get us focused, take them on their journey, and inspire us along their adventures. And we also have with us the rugby cyclist panel to kind of make this session more interactive and to try and motivate people like me onto the bike into a world of new adventures. Thank you so much. And I understand the cycling is great to the environment, social kind of chat. I think I would love to have this journey together. Cheap, it is highly, kind of health benefits in terms of stress, and really the list is endless. So without much ado, I would like to welcome Maninder and Ravinder for the time you've taken to come and share your experiences as well as to take us on your journey together. Thank you so much.
So Maninder Kalkat is a good friend, a consultant thoracic surgeon and a transplant surgeon in Birmingham, and the clinical director, as well as he wears various hats in the professional arena as the meeting secretary of our society and the European board exams. But the thing which inspires us all more is from the time he came to the West Midlands, he's always been a runner. And then he got into cycling and he just goes endless trips every year, disappearing off. And last year or this year, he and Ravinder did the John O Groats to Land's End trip as a duo. So Mani, we're all waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri, for that kind of information. I would say you are the best friend, and that's how we used to write essays. And I can probably on one day write essay on you. Thanks for inviting us both to this forum. And when you asked me to do this, and I said it will be easy peasy for me to just make a few slides and bring it over here, but I found it so difficult because I've got so many sort of fantastic pictures and so many routes to share that if I start that, I'll never be able to finish. So I'm going to try to pick up some important bits from here and there, and I will take you through to that sort of a concise journey over the last 12 years, I would say. But please stop me if you think I'm just trying to veer off because I'll get passionate about showing you the pictures. Then probably we'll move on to the sort of a next discussion points. So basically, I think the cycle of cycling has come a full circle. So I remember this is in the middle is me when I was a small boy, and every evening I would pray, I need a bike. And it was really a struggle. And by the time I got a bike, and this was probably the sort of a bike I got, I think I was probably in year 7, and I was so excited, very excited. And then within about 4 or 5 years, I started hating it, really hating it. And the prayers started again. Can I have a scooter? Well, the prayers went on, and then it took quite a bit of time before I got one. And I think I was in second professional in Medical College Amritsar when I got one. And I was very excited. Again, on the scooter, going around everywhere, girls' hostel and here and there. And then again, I got fed up. Now, again, the prayer started. Well, I need a car. And this Padmini, as you remember, this was the car. And this is my son there. And now he was praying, I need a bike. So that sort of, praying and getting things, and God's been great, kept going on. And this is what my wife presented me on my 50th birthday. And then I've been again praying to her, can I have this bike? which is just 11,500 pounds, which I think is still on the wish list.
This prayer is not going to come true. I can tell you that.
But anyway, so that's how this cycling story goes. And I would say that after I finished my this bit here, when I got a scooter, for good about, I would say, 20 years, I never touched the bike again. And then Karan, my son, he got into King Edward's in Birmingham, and this man here, Chris Boardman, I would say he was who inspired me to get on the bike again. It was actually Karan going on the cycle tours. I didn't go with him for first one or two, but then I said, why not? Let's give it a go. But that 40 to 60 miles ride would really scare me off. I said, well, that's not really possible to be on the saddle for good 80 kilometers a day. That's madness. But anyway, I decided let's give it a go. I bought a cheap bike, got onto it, and it was doable. The only problem was that the bum hurt. It hurted like anything. In the evening, I would be lying actually prone. That was the situation for first couple of days, but then very, very quickly you get used to it. But it was fantastic to have these kids along, and cycling with them. It was very, very sort of inspiring. I mean, these tiny guys with really small legs, and they will just whiz past you, and they will eat like crazy. That was all sort of a very, very sort of inspiring. And then I started that in 2009. We had a Denmark tour, then Holland tour, then we went to Low Countries, and then we did this Danube, which was Danube 1, was with basically from where Danube starts as a spring, this place, and then becomes a really big river. And we stopped in Regensburg about 300 to 400 miles away. But it was just amazing, and you can see there are so many pictures I can probably share with you one day, but this is a sort of a centipede bridge. You'll never ever go on this bridge if you are not on a bike or walking through that. And it was great. And then, interestingly, the reason I'm showing you this slide, this is Holland, okay? And this is absolutely amazing country to cycle. Cycle paths just like that everywhere, flat like a pancake. Started from here, Amsterdam, go all the way. And then this is a dike, which I cannot pronounce at all what it means and what it says. But this is amazing. Look what these guys did in 1940. They built about 23 miles long dike. And you can see sea on this side and this natural lake, lake which has been formed with this dike on the other side, and you can see the difference between the levels. And this is a fantastic protection they have created all over the country, including this old windmills to pump the water out. And this is amazing. And the reason I'm saying is that anybody who wants to go out and cycle in about for a week or so, I think Holland is the place to go to, because it is absolutely beautiful, flat like no other place, and you'll find amazing places. And this is what is Muller Museum, right in the woods somewhere. And this has got the maximum number of Van Gogh's paintings. And this is amazing place. Again, you just go to Amsterdam, you come back, but you are on the bike, you'll see lots and lots of other places. This is a place here, a tiny town called Hoon. And after Amritsar, the best fish you can have, what we call Amritsari fish, is there. But then I'm just going to take you through a few of the best ones, the best tours probably we had. In fact, all of them are very, very close to my heart. But this is another one called Romantic Route, okay? So this starts from a place near Frankfurt called Würzburg. And Würzburg is the place where there's the oldest university of Europe, oldest medical university of Europe. And then it goes through absolutely stunning areas. It is just I would say, mind-bogglingly beautiful tiny towns and villages, and they are all like this. This is a really nice place we were staying in, and the atmosphere at night was brilliant. And this is a church in a place called Ulm, and this is the highest steeple there, where you go right to the top, about 800 steps, and the view from there is just unimaginably beautiful. And then what we again noticed was that this stork was everywhere on every house, and we didn't really know the significance of this, which I tried to see, but then it's there everywhere. You'll find this. And this is then Fusen. So you have seen those castles in the movies. That's where we finished. But right uh, from far away, you could see these two castles, and they were just stunningly beautiful. And then we spent a lot of time there. I'm going to use these words again, beautiful. Please don't mind that. And this is some other place. Now, this is where what happened was that I started. And then when I started sharing the pictures with my friends elsewhere in the world, then one of them from America said, "Can I join?" And bless Chris Boardman, he said, "Yeah, why not? Just ask him to come over. More the merrier." And it was really great, for a school to allow my friend from America to come and join. So Amol, he joined. And then next year, there's another one from India. He says, "Can I join?" And I again timidly asked Chris, "Can a guy from India can join?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" So he joined. And the group started becoming bigger. And then we realized that actually, it's not viable. So what I started doing was that I started following the Chris Boardman's tour and would follow them with my friends way behind. And then the group became further bigger. And then we started following that group about either a day earlier or a day later. And then is a time when we felt actually we need to create our own group. So we formed our own group, and this is a group. So this is Amol. This is he's from Phoenix. This is Jaspal. He's a professor of medicine, a professor of surgery in Ludhiana. So he's from there. This guy's from Phoenix, and this guy come from Canada. And so this group formed, and this is the first time we went to US to cycle, and this is the western coast, the Oregon coast bike route, and we started from a place called Astoria and came right down to Brookings, so about 400 miles, and along the Pacific coast. It was amazing journey. The only problem and the reason we didn't do it again is that there is no cycle path. So we were basically cycling on the hard shoulder. But the way they are promoting the biking in US is that people were pretty much aware of the cyclists on the road and they were careful. Nevertheless, the big trucks going just next to you would make you worry. And then when the tunnel will come, the hard shoulder will disappear. But it was fun. It was fun in the sense it was very, very different atmosphere. It was very cheap. The food was absolutely brilliant, and it was good. I think we probably will do some similar thing at some stage. And at this stage, I think my wife realized that I was having too much of fun. She decided that, why can't I accompany you? And she got in touch with the wives of rest of the friends. And first, as usual, there was a lot of skepticism and said, "Well, you can't do it." And I was sure she will never be able to do it, to be honest. But I underestimated her as always. And so in this tour, which was from Regensburg, where we stopped the first Danube tour, to Vienna, they decided to join us. And they joined us in a way that we worked around the tour in such a way that there was smaller segments where they could join us, but they were fantastic. I mean, all of them actually joined us, and we finished about 300 miles in a decent time. And this is some pictures from that route. And this is again one I will very strongly recommend if somebody is starting cycling, that this is again absolutely, I would say, beautiful but easy, because it's all along the Danube River and it is quite flat. So if you want to make it a little bit more tougher, then there are hills on either side of the valley. But if you just go along the Danube, it's pretty much doable. And again, we were following the KS tour, and this is a guy from KS tour, Arvind, whom we met somewhere in one of the museums. And this is where I'll become a little bit more passionate about what we did. And this is a cycling tour in Italy, a place called Puglia, in 2017. And this was absolutely stunning tour. Nobody goes to Italy in this part. This is the heel of the Italy, as you can see, right at the bottom. And this is a place called Bari. And you just go along the coast all the way around Gallipoli and you come back. Now, there are 5 World Heritage sites along this route. And I can imagine why they are so, as you will see in the pictures ahead. But before there, so this is how we normally start. We will book the bikes somewhere and then pick the bikes from here. So this is a Bari Central Station, and the bike shop was next to it. And what I want you to just look at is the bikes and then the panniers at the back. So this is one way, and this is the way we normally cycle, that we carry everything for ourselves. And you can imagine how much you put in those bags, and whatever you put in those bags, you have to carry. So the lighter the better. And it is possible even ladies can have all their stuff in there, and you can manage with whatever goes in.
And we still look beautiful with the minimal stuff we were allowed to carry on.
Now, interesting thing about this group is this, that there are 2 generations. Okay, so this is Jaspal, his son, my son, and you can imagine 2 generations, cycling together for 10 days, and it's amazing. Okay, and this is the professor sleeping even before we started cycling. So this was amazing place. As I said, we went and look at the color of the sea. Wherever you want to, you just stop your bike, take your clothes off, jump into the sea. You are plucking cherries. Oh gosh, the amount of cherries we ate, and such a juicy cherries. The only problem in this tour was we did it in some time, I think July. It was very hot. So very frequently we had to stop in the shade, eat, drink, and it carried on. And this is a place called Lecce. And this is about 300-400 years old auditorium. And this is Amol's daughter giving a beautiful rendition there. And it was just stunning at 11 o'clock midnight, and the whole auditorium to yourself. And then these are stunning places. If you have never been there, and even if you don't want to cycle, I would very strongly recommend you to go there. So this is a place called El Barello, and you can see these are very typical houses there. These are called trullis, and the way they are constructed is that there is no support inside, and these have been converted into various sort of hotels and places to stay. And it is a different world. You go there, every house is a trulli, and every house is white, and it is stunningly beautiful, clean. And this is where we spend a day and night. And then this place you might have seen on the telly these days, because this year it has been declared as I think it's a world city of culture, for last year, and it's everywhere. There's a documentary about this on BBC. This is called Matira, and Matira is the oldest habitated city in the world. They say, and continuously, and this is all in the caves. So these are all caves. So this is a hill. So this is interesting. You are cycling, you reach there, and you suddenly go above the hill and you see this, and it is unbelievable. And interestingly, till 1960s, nobody knew people were living there because of its accessibility was such that either the Italians ignored them or they didn't want to move out. And they were living in appalling conditions. These cave dwellers were having themselves, their children, their cattle, and everything in those areas, and they were just living there till 1970, late 60s and early 70s. They were relocated, and all these places are now being sort of renovated and being turned into hotels, and it is all something which is becoming a very, very touristy, but still not many people know about it. And then this was Hamburg, around Hamburg. We just started from Hamburg and went all the way around Hanover, being the center. And again, if you guys have read those fables when we were small, so this is a Hamelin. This is a town of Hamelin. And this is a Pied Piper of Hamelin. And every day, I think I will be not able to record, play it here, but every evening they play music, and this sort of door opens, and the Pied Piper and the mice, they walk from this side to the other side. And this is Hamelin. So basically, we went around through these lovely areas with it was relatively flat, but then there were some hills, and then we reached Bremen. And again, this is a story I used to read as a kid. And the reason and interestingly, the story started from Bremen, and the same story was there in our books in India. And this is basically a story about a horse, a donkey or horse or a hound, and a cat and a rooster who have worked hard, and then they become old, and the farmer has kicked them out. So they all go around and they come to Bremen, and there's a night, and then there's a bit of light from a house. So they say, well, let's see what's going on inside. So they're just lined like that, one on the top of each other, and the rooster looks inside, and they found that there were a bunch of robbers who were counting money. So the robber, when what he saw was the crown of the rooster is just like the crown of the police in Punjab. Yeah. So he thought, oh, well, the police has come. So they all ran away. Okay. And surprise, the story starting from Bremen going to Punjab is exactly the same. Okay. And that was exciting. So in 2019, Alpday Hughes. So we had heard a lot about Alpday Hughes on various platforms, particularly the cycle tour, the French one. And we said, we'll go there. So this is another place. This was absolutely crazily tough. As you can see, there are 12 hair bends, and it goes from right up to about, I think it is roughly about 2,000 meters it goes up to. And we spent a lot of time there. We were there for about 2 to 3 days and kept going up and down through this one route, and then there's another one which was from the other side. But again, it was great, but very difficult. And you can see me sitting there cursing myself why I'm on this one. The cramps were just crazily painful, very painful. But a lot of sense of achievement once we did that, and that gave us confidence. Well, cycling is something which we can pursue with a little bit more vigor. And that's the reason we chose Norway. We said, let's go to Norway. I had gone to Norway. I'd gone on a train from Bergen to Oslo. And what I saw around was just so beautiful. We said, we need to do this. And this is, again, something which I will recommend people to do, probably when the legs are a little stronger. But again, we landed up in Oslo, spent some time in Oslo, and then from Oslo we came to Flam. So, and the Flam is somewhere here, right at the bottom. That place is called Midral, and that's where the train from Bergen to Oslo goes. And from there, you cycle around down to this place, right down here, and then there's a train you take from there, or there's a train which comes from there directly to Flam. Now, why I want to show you this is that we cycled along this. That is one reason. The other reason is the train which comes from this place called Midral to Flam is again a World Heritage train. Okay, and it comes through. It is again an engineering marvel the way this has been constructed. So you can see the drop, but this train goes through loops and loops, and it comes down. At one stage, the train stops here, okay? And they say, and the tour guide is telling the story that in this area, it is there's a story goes that there was a girl who actually was being tormented by the lover or whatever sort of a story, and she committed a suicide here long ago, but her soul come back and people have seen it. So the train is stopping there, and suddenly this haunting music starts. So then this girl from here, she jumps into this. So we couldn't record the full. But this is all enacted, obviously, but it is so real with the story which they start in narrating that when the train stops there, people have come out and the whole water is falling on your face and this music starts out of the world. And a lot of picture opportunities. And so from Flam, then you start cycling, and it is quite tough at places. In fact, the steepest cycle track is somewhere here, just around the corner, which probably none of us could do. And this is the preparation, and this is one of the, again, right at the top of, just like this mountain on this side, we have gone to the top and then a bit of exercise going on. What I'm showing you here is the preparation which goes in. So this is what we hired a van, we hired the bikes, and then packing them to go from Oslo to Flam. Why do we do this, and why I'm insisting and why I'm so evangelical about this, that take up cycling? Because when you are cycling, you see these places which you will never ever see. And they're amazing. They are just amazing places. This castle I have spoken to you about, this is absolutely such a poignant scenes there. So the low countries, there are cemeteries all around. And when you go through them, yeah, you really, the tear comes to your eyes when you see these boys, 18 years, 19 years, from all over the world. And this is spread out in acres and acres. And this is a Manning Gate, right? I think this is a pilgrimage everyone should do. This is in a place called Yper, VPER, in Belgium. So this is a sort of a place where there are names of about 50, 60,000 soldiers who died in the First World War. And every evening since then, apart from few days in the World War II, this traffic here stops and people collect, and a ceremony takes place. So this has been happening non-stop from so many years. And again, you need to be there to feel it, to feel what it is all about, and to keep that in mind, the sacrifices those people made for us. And this is fantastic. And there is a one column, this one, where there are names of so many Indians inscribed there. And then we learned somewhere in one of the museum that this is a Mercedes, and that's how the name of Mercedes came. And this is the Crawler Miller Museum. And then again, museum somewhere out of the blue, and you go in there and you find fantastic astronomy stuff lying there in a place called Lund Museum. And then this is the beer train in a place called Regensburg. And interestingly, you sit on this and you pedal, and the beer comes out and fills your glasses, and then you go all along the street. So as I said, Van Gogh's paintings, I think after Van Gogh's museum, the maximum number of paintings are in this. And there's a story about this. I don't think I'll have time to tell you about this, but I will if the time permits later on. And this is what happens. Yeah, you pack up your stuff, you put it on a bike, you go across the channel, and then you have other friends coming from all over the world, and you get bikes from them. You pack your stuff in the panniers, you put them on, you sit somewhere for lunch outside the some supermarket, or you get the stuff and you sit down and you eat. So that's how the lunches are normally, and all of us connect. And then I realized, my wife waiting for me, longing in her eyes when I'm just coming up, and gives me intense happiness. She still cares for me. And this is last year. So this is what we did, coast to coast. Again, something I put it on that very much doable. I think all of you can do it, and this will actually motivate you to be on the bike whenever you get opportunities. This was absolutely beautiful, and you can see the scene. And these pictures are taken by a person called Ram, world-class photographer. If somebody wants to actually appreciate photography, ask him to have one session on this and show it to you. It's just stunningly beautiful pictures he captured. So this was C2C. And again, as I said, it is a little tough, but pretty much doable. People do it in 2 days, but you can easily do it in 3 days. And the good thing is that if you're going from Lake District to Newcastle side, then last 50, 60 miles are all downhill. Okay, so do it. And this was something, because now I think I would dedicate this Lee Jog 2020 to Ram's wife Kalpa, because she said, because we are a part of that group, and last year we did Amsterdam too. We did a tour, and she said to me, let's do Lee Jog. I said, Lee Jog, yeah, I want to do it, but I can't take 14 days off. She said, no, we'll do it in 10 days. I said, are you crazy? How can we do 1,000 miles in 10 days? She said, no, we'll do it. And I just, I said, it's a bit of a hubris. We can't do it in 10 days. And I don't think despite the fact that we have done Alpe d'Huez and all that's quite a bit. 100 miles on a saddle every day is not possible. But then my wife said, we can do it. So I said, okay. And somehow this group grew to about 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was the last person to join I have no regrets. So this was, as you can see, the route starting from the extreme lower end of UK and going right up to the top bit. It's called Land's End here and a John O Groat over there. And it goes through the stunningly beautiful part of the country. I never knew that this country is so beautiful, and even our backyard from Birmingham. So when we were going from Worcester to Manchester, we went through the areas which I never knew existed. Really, really. I'm telling you, this is, I could never imagine Stoke-on-Trent could be so beautiful, but it was. And there are some pictures, and you can see, I think again, the pictures really don't do the justice to what actually it's like. And look at this. So this is a place, I think it was called Abigail. This is just a natural depression for a long, long time. We don't know how it was created, but then it is there. And then it was for a long time being used as a place for people to congregate. And again, you have to be sitting there and then have that sort of a feel. But Cornwall, right up to Bristol, it was tough ride, up and down. As you can see, 18-degree gradients were pretty common. There was one place where it was nearly about 23-degree gradient, but fun. You get on the top and you enjoy that. And again, which route to take? Yeah. So everybody's looking at their phones and GPS, and my wife is ringing me. She trusts me. Which way, Maninder? And I'm always right.
Ram, you have to say something about it in the end, okay?
And Ram is
He's
muted.
lying. He's lying. You will say something in the end.
Yes. There's the routing was done by me, fortunately or unfortunately. But there's only one person who dedicatedly followed the route and did not get lost, and that was Ravi. Of course, there were some issues with the routing because it's never 100% routing. But the team was a very enthusiastic and a fantastic team to support. They just got on, and it was a pleasure supporting the team. There was no issues. The finish was very emotional to finish off. I think that was the most important bit.
So this is another few pictures. As you can see, this out of nowhere we found this airport. Okay, and you could just go on the runway and do whatever you want to do there. But these places, you never can imagine you will ever visit them on your car or otherwise, and they are just around you. And this is I just got I just couldn't choose what to choose for Scotland. It is absolutely a heaven on earth. Okay, and you can't see anybody for miles around, but just beauty of nature. And you just keep cycling and you just keep looking around, and you can't just take in enough. And the things which you just read and the names you read when you are browsing through some travelogues or stuff, we all went through those. And I think thanks to Ram, he had actually worked hard there are a lot of routes from Land's End to John Groat, but the ones he had chosen was through the places which were important from the point of view of their history and the beauty, but also relatively flat. I mean, in total, I think we did climb about 55,000 feet, but it didn't feel like that the way it was. But yeah, it was very satisfying. And again, a little bit more about it. And the piece on the cake was this. Yeah, it was my birthday on 29th of August. On a penultimate date in a place called Alton Horror, and this is Alton Horror. So I tell you, if you want to surprise your spouses, take them to Alton Horror. It's a nice, really, really nice place. This is a nice hotel and lovely staff and great food. Okay, just go there. And this is me and Hari trying to climb up the hill.
And this heather was everywhere. You can see
Yeah.
the colors of heather.
Pink color everywhere. Yeah, this is feast for the eyes. And this is the finish. And the finish was exciting. People like me just, finishing like this. And this is the ladies, yeah, in their full regalia.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is my wife. On day 2, I'm saying, come on now, don't stop. And then, yeah, she's carrying on paddling on day 5 or 6. And then she's not stopping on the last day. It was very difficult to catch her. Okay. So, very much doable, very much something which, if I'm not saying if Ravinder can do it, I would say if I can do it, Ravinder can do it. A lot of other my friends who we never imagine, or their wives, we never imagined they will get on the bike. If they can do it, and not only they did it, they come every year to do it. Yeah. So apart from meeting lovely friends, yeah. So these are the friends from medical school, as I said, 2 generations, other local people over there, sitting for the meals. So the number of friends we have made, it's absolutely amazing, and we have connected with them, and look at the food, yeah, beer, food, and trust me, once you go on these tours, you will eat like pigs and you will gain weight despite the fact that you have cycled so much. Okay. And I think Ram has closed the membership. There are few very selective members who, once you have finished the local rides, Ram cooks for them. And then, once you retire, you have something to do. Okay. So this is another, another small village we found on the way when we were doing our ride. And this is the biggest reward. Can you see all these ladies saying, oh, you have done great? Okay. So they're all trying to bend and touch my knees. Maninder, you are great. And my wife, you can see right to the bottom. I'll always remember that. And that makes me feel like a king.
Just the one time in 28 years.
All right, okay. Okay, so let us plan. Okay. I will be very honest. I think first you need a team. Okay. It is absolutely a team effort. Okay. There's no doubt about that. You all have to be in this together. There are 2 ways of doing it: easy way and the tough way. Okay. The easy way is Ram's way, right? Ram is absolutely amazing organizer and a host. I have never found, and I can't do that. I'll put my hand up. I don't know how many of you can do it, but this is how it should be done. And if you can't find somebody like Ram, but please don't come to Ram. Okay,
He's booked. He's booked for next 20 years.
So this is what Ram did. So Ram organized everything for Lee Jog. He booked the hotels. He organized the route. All we had to do him was to make sure that we keep practicing, and we make sure that we follow the route he has given us. We make sure that we listen to him, and we did that. He did delegate me one day, Maninder, can you just wake up everybody next morning? And people didn't like that at all, and I'd stopped doing it. And then a nice sport vehicle there. So we had this man called Christian, who was a fantastic support of Ram, and then also looked after our bike. So he's basically a person who's a cycle repair man, and he's great. But this is what Ram did. Every morning he made sure that we were having a breakfast, and he had his car following us all the time, and he will be sitting every few miles to make sure everybody was okay. And then he fed us. He fed us and fed us and fed us. Okay. And what he fed us was just amazing. And as I said, my motivation has been the food. So find somebody like Ram. Okay. A really good organizer. This is a lot of effort which goes in this. And I know that for a reason, because this difficult way is the other way of doing it. And that's what I do. For my medical college team and I think we are about 25 of us, I organize everything, and we do exactly what Ram does, organize the tours, and then we go to booking.com, and then we book the hotels, and then we do all that, and then we hire the bikes, and then we carry everything ourselves. Okay, so these panniers are the ones which are hanging on either side. We carry enough water. We mark out the places where we will stop and fill us up and all that. Something which Ram does, we do it on our own. And this needs a little bit more discipline. It has its problems. Like, for example, this cycle broke down 3 times, and it takes a time. And for that matter, this is the advantage of somebody like Ram and Kristen, that your bikes are absolutely ready to ride next morning, as you can see in this case. Here, you have to make sure that before you go to sleep, your bike is in a spick and span condition. So team and a support. And then the most important is the resilience. I think you should be resilient. You should have that sort of a motivation that come what may, whether it is a track like this or it is raining, that you carry on. Okay. And I think we all probably are resilient. And then pray, yeah, that everything goes well. This is important, because I must say 1,000 miles and none of us had any problems, I think is thanks to God and thanks to Ram. This is how the routes and everything is planned, and then they are all, and it's not easy, because you have an idea that there is a cycle path, and what is done is that we make various routes easy and tough. Like, for example, this is going through the hill. Somebody wanted a little bit tougher one, then somebody wants to have a simple. So you need to look into everybody's abilities and everybody's what they want to do. There are some who will just like to cycle 20-30 miles and then go and see the nice place called Augsburg. Okay, so you need to keep that sort of thing, and then you break it up into various small bits so people know what they are going to be doing. Book it on the booking.com. And then you need to have some sort of hardware and software to help you, the GPS to have the track. You need to have some sort of arrangement to make sure that everybody contributes equally, and it all gets distributed equally when it's needed, because that's quite tough thing to do, particularly if you're doing it yourself. And then this is what I think was a great idea from Ram, to have a sort of a tracking device. So this is I think this is called Family 360 or something like that, where this is something which will track. So Ram knew exactly where everybody was, and he could go back to them. As a preparation, do local rides. So this is all within about 50-60 miles of Birmingham. And as I said, we actually did quite a number of them, as Kalpa will tell us. We were going almost every week, doing about 50-60 miles, about a month and a half before we went for the Lee Chalk. And this is like you have Mad Hare and another one which happens around Birmingham. So yeah, be a part of that. And then this is important. This is very important, that you need to stretch. Okay, so this is, I'm showing you now, because even now, if you go for cycling, do a bit of stretching before you leave and do a bit of stretching after you come back. And it is particularly important for those who have just started cycling, because you are using the muscles and ligaments in cycling, which are very different than walking and running. Okay, so there are a lot of cycling specific easy exercises. Takes just 10 to 15 minutes to do them, but they help. Trust me, they really help, and I will really emphasize that, and have a friend like this to give you a bit of a massage. And this will happen. Okay, you will get injured. Okay, so be careful, right? But it shouldn't put you off. All of us, without exception, have had a falls and have injured ourselves. And this is an interesting story. I think Mr. Rajesh, I hope he's around. This is a very interesting story about this fall I had. So I was going to work in the morning. So I got hit badly, and you can see the bike just got bent and I got thrown away. But anyway, I was okay. The ambulance came, and they took me to Heartland's A&E. And then suddenly Mr. Rajesh walked in, and I was lying on the operation table, and he called the plastic surgeon to book it. And I was more worried about the abuse I'm going to get from him. Mr. Rajesh, I must say, he's just like a big brother to me, and he was always worried that this is going to happen if I keep cycling. I will get hit and I'll injure myself, and that's what my worry was. And I had the same worry that I'll have the same abuse from my wife when I come home, and I had it. So it was pretty bad. But again, I said, you need to pray. You can see that it not only bent, it just broke everything, but I was safe. So I would say to you this, be very cautious. Okay, it is still a little dangerous pursuit, but everything is dangerous. Even running on the, I mean, we just few days ago, somebody was just jogging and got hit. Yeah, it can happen. Okay, but the risk in cycling is higher. And the reason it is higher is that people don't see you. Okay, that is the biggest problem. The people who are in the cars, and especially in the dark weather, can't see you. So make yourself visible. Wear a really, really bright stuff and have lights on your, I mean, I'm like a Christmas tree when I'm cycling. Okay, you should have proper lights, and it is legal requirement for you to have light in front and back, and a reflective jacket on. So make sure you invest on that. Don't get those ones which even you can't see. So there is a specification for legal lighting to be on your bikes, but spend money. And the good lights will not be less than 30-40 pounds, trust me. So spend money on that. And this is what I realized when I was cycling in America, that road positioning is very, very, very important. And trust me, a lot of people fall off because they are too close to the curb. So two problems with being too close to the curb. The moment you go to the edge, your cycle will wobble and you will fall down. And I did that and I injured myself. But more than that, if you are not too close to the curb, the car at the back will like to overtake you, okay? And then will throw you off. So be in the center, let that car at the back keep honking, okay? He should not try to go around you. And then make sure what is around you, those potholes and all those sort of things. Be careful, and especially when you're going over the drain covers, they're slippery. So keep that. So that's why I say it's a meditation, because your eyes, your ears, and everything has to be constantly engaged. Okay, anticipate what others are going to do it. I think I don't want to go through this, but this is something which I felt I used to forget it, and I always had a problem. Okay, and this is the two most important, and I think the majority of accidents happen because of this. People are trying to undertake a lorry or the long buses, and watch out for the car doors. Okay, we recently had a colleague who cycling rammed into the door which was just open. And keep your hands on brakes, and learn to make your intentions clear by giving directions if you are turning or whatever. Okay, and what I have found, and I'm not put on this, is there's a rear view mirror which I only use, but I swear by it. It's very, very useful. Yeah, it sits on it's a tiny one, sits on the right side and knows what's coming at the back. So I think I will probably invest on that. It's I can carry on and on and on, but I'll just tell you one more story, and then I'm going to call it off. When we started cycling, the first tour we took, this one. As I said, this is the one I would recommend to everyone around the Holland. And we were in this place called Arnhem, and Arnhem, you know, it has got a lot of history from World War One. And here there's a big, sorry, World War Two. There's a big museum here which shows all the stuff there. And we were a bunch of 70, 80 KES boys, us parents, and we had the look at the museum, and we are coming off, getting on our bikes because we were staying in Arnhem, not too far off. And we found a small boy. How old he was? 7 years, 8 years old, smartly dressed in a scout's dress, sitting there like this. And we said, there's nobody else around, so what's this boy doing here? And we asked him, son, what are you doing here? Who are you with? He said, I was with my friends. We came from England, Newcastle, and they have left me. Right? So there was a school trip from Newcastle with a small bunch of these young boys. And the bus went and they left him there. So we rang the mother. So we got your son. And she started shouting, what do you mean by you got my son? Where is the rest of them? And then the bus came back about an hour later. We were cycling here and there was a boy. We were cycling together. And there is a very interesting, if you will cycle here, you will find there's a patch which is actually sand, like a desert. Okay, so that's somewhere there. And then it is actually the national park. And we were cycling, and this boy suddenly started having an anaphylactic reaction. And it so had happened that we had stopped somewhere, and probably he just drank a coffee and then had some biscuit or something which had a nut in it. And we could see he was really getting red and his breathing was becoming difficult. And we are looking at him, and there's no signal there. And what to do? And he says, I've got EpiPen. He just blurted that out. And then that pediatrician actually said, well, so he gave it, and the guy's color started turning, but then again he started deteriorating. And then he said, I've got one more. So this is the one I was talking to you about. So this is the Danube 1 up to Regensburg, and then Danube 2 to Vienna. And this is the romantic tour. I think that's something which definitely, and these are other routes we've been doing. So that's been my motto now. Eat, sleep, bike, repeat. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, sir. You took us back in time machine with your phenomenal presentation. It felt like we were cycling with you from 2009 till now. Thank you so much, sir. I have a question for Ravinder ji.
Mm-hmm.
You know, expectation from an Indian mother is always high. How do you keep up your stamina amidst all, and you're busy in your profession as well? So how do you keep up your stamina in maintaining the household and your fitness and your cycling tools?
Yes, so for me, it started when Maninder and Karan were going with the school tours. Karan used to come back and tell me that, Mom, this is the best thing we ever do. This is the best holiday I have with Dad. It will be perfect if you could come as well. That's what motivated me, and I said, okay, I'll give it a go. And yes, you have to exercise. You have to, cardio fitness needs to be there. Then stretches, exercise. Before Lee Jog, we did lots of cycling rides as well. But cycling is not difficult. It's just in your head. You need perseverance. And for me, I always note that if you go on a 30-mile ride, I start feeling tired around 15 miles. And if we go for a 100-mile ride, you don't have an option of feeling tired, and you start feeling tired after 60 miles. So it is all in your head. When you know that this is what you have to achieve, just put your head down and keep cycling. Perseverance is the key.
And you need a person like me to motivate.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It motivated me even more. Yeah. I'm a very rare cyclist. I walk with my cycle when my husband and kids are cycling. So it definitely made me to think about pushing myself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When I started, I was not like in the fittest person or anything like that. But once you start, you see these beautiful places, and you think, a holiday just going to a beach and lying there. That's not what you want to do. You want to see all these places as well. With motivation, you will start making yourself fit for going even further.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite our very own rugby cyclist panel.
So, Maninderji, my name is Mahadev. I am from rugby. Uh, we have got a small cycling group with 7 members. So, probably we started sometime back in, I think 3 years back, we started. Over to you, Ravi. And
No,
Neeraj.
Neeraj is speaking. Neeraj is speaking.
Neeraj. Yeah.
Okay.
Over to you,
Yeah.
Neeraj.
Thanks, Mahadev. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks, Maninderji, for all your stories. And I think that really motivates us again to take that as a challenge. And we'll take this up. As Mahadevji said, we started 3 years before, and it's all initiated by Ravi, and he forced everyone and then he inspired everyone to take this as a challenge. And let's just start. So we were thinking, oh, is it possible for us to take us through about all the cycling and the different rides? But he keeps inspiring us and forcing us to saying that no, let's go, we'll do this one. So we started with very, very small rides, like you suggested initially, like 20, 25 miles, going back 30 miles, then we increased to 50 miles on that way. For London to Paris, the first big, how to train yourself, what to eat, what not to eat, what sort of exercise, what the stretching we need to do, all those stuff. And especially when you're going for a cycling, at the 3 to 4 months time, we were trying to train ourselves so that we can go to London to Paris. And definitely we need some family support to do all those activities. So thanks to everybody's family, they were supporting a lot. So when we started on around 3rd of May, we started, and that was really a fantastic tour, I would say that, and especially the team member. And because this is a first tour, so we were just enjoying, as you mentioned in a couple of slides, when you travel by cycle, you can see more scenery than anything else. And we really enjoyed traveling that way. And the first night was really tough for us because first night when we reached to hotel in the night, and we were so tired, we thought, oh, it's very difficult to go tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But next day morning when we woke up, and then we realized, oh, no, it's not that one, let's try for another day. So that day was again challenging for us because half of the team member was tired, but again because of excitement. And as you also said, if this everything is in your mind, and finally when we reached to Paris, that day we realized, oh, that's a great achievement for us. And that was the very first achievement. So then we can see that how so uh, now listening to you, I feel we should again start doing some big rides. We can go ahead for further rather than just sticking to UK or this area. We'll definitely try to join your group if you allow us to join. Otherwise, we'll see that how we can make such trip where we can just continue doing on those stuff. So thank you very much for your inspiration stories and sharing all the information with.
It is a good the sense of achievement, and particularly, I think Karthik is also there in this group chat. He was part of our group.
Yeah.
None of us owned a bike 2 months before the trip, 2 or 3 months before the trip. So that was what we have achieved. It was good. But now listening to you guys, you're on a different level, nowhere near. So we planned Italy tour last year, but that got cancelled because of COVID. So me and Sharma are doing Lee Jog this year in August.
Yeah.
So hopefully that should happen. Let's see.
Yeah,
Fantastic. No, I think it is absolutely nothing like on a different planet. It is absolutely doable. It is just the mind game a bit.
Yeah.
You need to put your mind into that, as you said, you just 2 months earlier you started planning, and then you did quite a
Exactly.
difficult
Yes.
one. Actually, London to Paris, not an easy one, and you did that. But that's you're right. For every evening, once you've done 70, 80 miles, that's a sense of achievement. And then you can eat whatever you want to eat. I mean,
Exactly.
ice creams and desserts and drinks and everything.
I used to be someone who cycled a lot when I was younger. I remember some of my distinct memories going down the Pennine Trail with my dad. And we came up to mud, knee high, and we tried to cycle through it, cycling through pouring rain. But as I've grown up, I've realized I've been doing that less and less, to the point at which even my brother asking me to go around a quick trip around the park seemed like a task. But I'd really like to say thanks to both of you for presenting. This was absolutely enlightening, and I really want to pick up my cycle and give it a shot again. So
Maninder, for you, I'll give you a treat for this one, huh?
Hello, can I chip in there? I'm Neeraj as well. You've got another Neeraj on there. I'm Neeraj Medrat. I'm from Liverpool, and I was thrilled to join this Zoom meeting when Shri sent the invite round. I know a few of you professionally, Maninder and Shri and Pala Rajesh, but I'm from Liverpool. But the reason I was interested in this is because my children have schooled at the same school as Maninder's children, King Edward's, and with them, I've also been on some of the school rides in Europe. I've done the Holland trip. I've also done the River Danube trip. And I completely share with you the enthusiasm that you've expressed and the passion that you've shared with everyone about the enjoyment one gets through this kind of exercise, sightseeing in a very different way that you wouldn't otherwise get to see, eating what you want. And it's been absolutely thrilling for me as well. In fact, Maninder, I don't know if you recall, but I think it was the 2016 trip along River Danube that we actually bumped into each other. I was
Right.
with the school trip. You were following, I think, along the same itinerary, and we happened to bump into each other as a complete surprise. But I now realize why. The other interesting thing is that the two stories that you recounted, one of the child getting lost and one of the anaphylactic reaction, these are stories that the school keeps telling every year in the seminars around the cycling trip as part of the first aid education as well. And I've really enjoyed listening to you and really enjoyed to see how much you've taken this further. I'd like to do the same myself. I really haven't explored it as much as you have, although I enjoy it, I think, as much as you do as well.
Thank
And
you. Thanks, Neeraj. Yeah.
Thanks, Neeraj. This platform was started just to keep rugbyites interested and engaged, and we've had explored various themes and talks, and we have a very keen cycling group. So I said, look, why don't I invite one of my friends? And me being me, couldn't not share it with my professional friends. And we have Murthy, who's from Coimbatore, a keen cyclist. And then if the boys are playing, the parents come to watch. So thanks, Raj and Rekha, for joining us, who have been not only professional guides, but also mentors to all of us. You could basically say life mentors, and not being how to be a good doctor, but also being a good husband, good father, good family man.
And me?
Thank you,
Of course,
Sri.
ma'am.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say a few words, if you permit me,
Of course, definitely.
about the origins of Mr. Kalkat cycling. Maninder came up to me one day in the Heartlands and said, you know, Mr. Rajesh, King Edward School have a cycling trip for my son. And he has told me that he's going on this trip. And I told him, I said, well, the schools do have several trips for the children. However, I would be careful if I were you. Then a few weeks later, Maninder came and told me, Mr. Rajesh, do you know there are some unbelievable cycles in this country? I said, I stay next to a gentleman who actually has done cycling maps for Birmingham, and he has told me that there are several cycles, but what is this cycle? He said it's so light you can lift it up with a finger, but it costs £1,000. I said, Maninder, I wish to inform you right now that I took a lot of trouble training you, and there are only 60 thoracic surgeons in this country, and I don't intend losing one of them. So I think you better stop thinking about it. And the next thing I hear is that he's in the A&E department with a split head, and he didn't inform his wife that he was injured. And after he got all his head sorted out with a big bandage, he was sitting in his office, and I had to go and throw him out after requesting his wife to come and pick him up and take him home. This is the real truth, but he will not agree to it. And I was terrified that he continued to cycle, and he still has had that unbelievable zeal, the enthusiasm that he has managed to put on to his wife. I salute both of them for having done this, because Rekha has been asking me to cycle, and I'd rather go in a sports car than cycle.
I think hats off to both of you, and to Kalpa and Ram Kalpa also for initiating this wonderful trip. I think you've had a great time, and like you said, you've made so many friends, and you've really enjoyed the excitement and the fun of going by cycle rather than flying around or going by motorways. So,
Well, Rajesh, if I can share Maninder's, the injury doesn't really stop you from not wanting more for some reason. I mean, I've had a worse accident than, I don't know how bad Maninder was. He doesn't really tell us the truth. He made us, by the way, Lijo was because he wanted to celebrate his birthday in Scotland. He pulled all of us all the way around, made us cycle all the way there. And it does make you more cautious, but you come back on the road more confident, and you probably attack slower. You don't, but you, a little fall shouldn't stop you from going back on the bike. And to be absolutely honest, I think this year it was Ravi inspiring Maninder than the other way around. She was the Rolls Royce of the whole trip this time.
Kalpa, you and Ram have bias against me, or Ravinder, so I'm not going to comment on this.
Kalpa,
well done, all of you, really.
You see, Kalpa, the gist of this whole exercise is that you learn, you educate yourself, you push your boundaries, and in the process, you make friends. We go on a variety of tours to Rekha and I, but we use our feet rather than bike. But the fact of the matter is that you meet new people, and you learn about other people's personalities. You learn how to adjust to other people's quirks, if you like. You either take to them or you don't take to them, but the fact that you're with them for the next 14 days or 15 days, you learn how to get on with people. It's a real people's, if you like, journey and exercise. And it's very interesting, how your personality changes as you get older. When you meet a variety of people in various countries. And Maninder, you're absolutely right. You've regaled me with so many stories after you come back from most of these trips about these little churches, and the fact that you were, cycling along in Denmark when you heard somebody said Ki Gale, and you wondered who the hell is that guy. And you found out that there was a gurdwara in the middle of nowhere. I mean, those are stories which will remain with you for the rest of your life.
True.
And these are all life-sharing experiences. And like I said, this is amazing. I think we live outside of our environment. We've made this our environment. Mine has been almost for 5 decades, and to be in a position to share these experiences with our own group, and to bring people from various countries as well to join you is amazing. Keep it up. Keep it up, Mani.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you.
Isabel, you had a question for Maninder. He's still there.
Yes, I am still here. No, I was just wondering, Maninder, thank you so much. You've got me inspired again, because I did a lot of cycling in the first lockdown, but have become a bit lazy, but you've really fired me up again. I was just wondering if there were any routes that you haven't yet done that you'd love to do. What would be your dream route to aspire to? You sound like you've covered a lot of stuff, but I wondered if there was something else.
Yeah, I think, Isabel, we've always been thinking of continuing along the Danube further, if the conditions permit, because of the political sort of a little bit instability. But that's something which is that we have started Danube, from where it starts, and can we finish it? That's what we are looking forward to. But having said that, I must say that this Lee jog, which I did this year, made me realize there's so much around in this tiny country, and it is so beautiful. It is so much unexplored, and you just get on your car and get your bike there and just start cycling. It's amazing, and that's what I think Ram and Kalpa, who were instrumental in us getting us sort of ready for the Lee jog. We explored these areas around Birmingham, and every time we would go and we say, hey, is it just in our backyard? And we didn't know this. So yeah, I think the dreams are we'll go further, and then there's a bit of a dream. Can we cycle in India? We don't know whether it's safe to do or not. And last but not the least, if I ever hang my shoes, I would like to cycle in Japan. But that is long way down the line. There's a lot of preparation which you need to go for that. But I've heard a lot of stories about it and seen so much pictures. I probably would like to go there one day.
Great, thank you.
We did the most beautiful rides around Broadway here when we were practicing for Lee jog. So lots of lovely routes around Broadway. Yeah.
That's another place. If you sitting in London, you haven't been to Broadway.
No.
Yeah, you must come. You must see this. This is a different place altogether.
Sri would like Moni to speak about train rides in India and train rides around the world. And I have spoken to Moni, and she's hoping for Sri to send her a date and an invitation to be in a position to speak. So if Sri can send her out a note, she'll probably be in a position to tell us what train journeys do to people as well.
Raj, that'll be lovely. In fact, I was telling Gomti, because this is looking at little girls growing and becoming big mothers, world-traveled writers and whatever. I remember Moni looking after Akash when I was your registrar. And now a mother of two and a person who's traveled around the world in trains. So we would love to have her, and we'll get some dates with her and sort things out. There's two things which I just wanted to highlight. I said to everybody it'll be an hour's program, and Maninder said he's very punctual. He's going to talk for 20 minutes. And that's the usual Mr. Kalkat, 20 minutes. And so 1 hour on, he kept us all enthralled. So Ravi, most of you heard, was the inspiring person behind the rugby cycling group. And I told Ravi, we'll give you a proper platform. One thing which I would like to tell you is Ravi is not the man you've seen on the screen now. If you had seen him in 2017, when we went around the Eastern Mediterranean cruise, Ravi used to weigh 120 something, Ravi?
126.
But this man has just become half the person he is. And in fact, he's promised us he'll spend an whole hour telling us how he kept himself motivated and lost all of this weight. Most Indians will be aware we've just celebrated the Indian Republic Day. And I don't know how many of you have seen, there's a nice video which is doing the rounds, which has got a motivational song based on a tune to an Italian song, which is in 8 Indian languages. And it's really very, very proud when the person who's behind that is one of your ex-trainees. So Rohit is here. I would urge you to watch this song. He's got his own small studio. So he's, again, a cardiothoracic trainee by day, but a creator, photographer, and you name it, he's doing it. Rov, do you want to tell them a few words about your bench?
Yeah, hi. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for inviting me, Mr. Rathinam. And it was inspiring to see Mr. Kalkat and his entire journey. Before this, as a child, the only cycling story I'd heard was my father and my uncle going on the old Indian bicycle. The old Indian bicycle with the big wheels. They traveled from Bangalore to Chennai and back. That was like 700 kilometers. And I was like shocked. But to see Mr. Kalkat like literally writing his name on the map of Europe, it's amazing. About the song I did, I've always been a bit creative, and I like to encourage creative people. And during the pandemic, we just thought, okay, people are getting bored, let's do something. And we organized a singing contest in India, and we had like around 200, 250 participants. And we gave away some prizes, and we created a YouTube channel. And then we chose a few good singers from that. And to the tune of this Italian folk song, Bella Ciao, which was making rounds around the world. So I started humming, and then I came up with some lines in a few Indian languages. And then we wrote the lyrics in 8 languages, and we just released the song. It's a small attempt, but our vision is to actually produce a lot of good songs and videos, giving a sort of like a podium for all talented people around the world. So if any of you have any talents to show, we can display it on our channel and actually help you get recorded things and make videos and all these sort of things. So happy to help.
I think, Maninder, there's kind of 2 types of people I've come to realize: the cyclists and the non-cyclists. You belong to the cyclist group, and I belong to the non-cyclist group. But I agree. I go with Rajesh. Huh? But you know what?
You might convert.
Yeah, but I will try. I am happy to give it a try. But for the moment in time, I'm in Mr. Rajesh's group.
Gomti, tomorrow, fill up that cycle to work scheme cycle. Yeah, buy a cycle, really nice one.
Okay. But I have realized one thing about this talk, Maninder, that you see the beautiful world much better than I've ever seen.
No, you trust me. I was worse than I'd never wanted to cycle again. Ravinder will never go on a cycle. I'm telling you, this will be absolutely amazing journey for you for us.
I will try to sort my head out, Maninder.
All of you, before you buy a cycle, buy a Brook saddle.
Yeah, I have that.
Brook saddle. Okay? It works. Gomti, it works.
I will give it a go tomorrow, round a 5-mile water park.
Give 150 miles, okay, adaptation, it'll work.
Okay, I'm going to give my life into Ravi's hands to take me around.
Yeah, sure. We'll start around Draycote, Gomati. Draycote is 5 miles around that lake. I think we should all start. Once the weather gets better, we'll start organizing more trips.
Thank you so much. But I'm still in the sports.
And give Akash a really nice birthday gift next time, a good cycle, okay?
I already got cycle. No more cycles. I had enough. I've got 2 cycles. Thank you so much.
We'll get.
Thank you.
Very well said. You know, it's amazing. I'm telling you. I'm pretty sure, Gomti, you will cycle. I can see it on your face.
The butt hurts too much. I'm telling you, I tried.
Okay, guys, for the butt, let me tell you something for the butt. I should have said that. I'll come to rugby.
And hopefully someday, I think I'll sweat up the hills and coast down as well. For company, if Ram maybe gives me a beginner's membership,
we'll
for
see.
passion or fitness, that's a doubtful thing. Let's see. But you've inspired me enough to try it out tomorrow. Thank you so much.
You must.
Thank you so much.
So I call myself a primary school teacher, and
I'm a beginner, so you can have me.
And I remain a primary school teacher because I don't go beyond that. People who have come in there have progressed on to go to do higher things. So I still do my own small bits of cycling in my own way. I'm a big guy. I don't like doing too much. I just generally find a flat route and try and work this through. And the only reason I set these routes out to bring these people along is because I want to do something and I can't do it on my own. I can't be bothered to. So I just get a group of people to come along with me so that I can boss them around. I try to at least boss them around and pretend that I'm cycling. So that's where I am. But it's fun. It's fun in its own rights.
So your membership is still your membership is still closed, Ram?
No membership is closed. Memberships are always open for anybody who wants to come.
Until the membership is open, I'll be on Mr. Rajesh's side.
The memberships are always open for anybody who wants to join. We have a small group. If you feel like riding, just ride. Who cares? There is no memberships here. If you want to come and ride, we come and ride. We are going to hopefully be doing a ride from Copenhagen to Berlin. That's the next ride that's been planned in probably end of August is when we planned, hopefully. And that was supposed to have happened this year. Unfortunately, last year that got cancelled because of COVID. So that is a slightly easier ride that has got about 50 people booked in it at the moment. 55 people are booked in for that ride. So I think that is closed at the moment because there's too many people. I can't take any more than that. So of course, there is one ride that is planned in the south of India towards December if things go well. That's going to be what we call as a luxury ride with 15 people supporting the ride. Apparently,
Me and Mr. Rajesh will come in the sports car by you. We'll wave the flag.
Will do. Hot idlis and vades.
Yes, of
With
course.
lovely
You're going to be staying in a hotel where everybody's going to take their luggages and put it in your room and stuff like that. All you have to do is just cycle. So it's going to be fun.
Thank you so much. It was very inspiring. But I'm hoping to get our own train journeys kind of reflections as well, Moni as well, and many more interesting facets of life with Ravi around how to lose half yourself. And thanks, Mani. We'll sort our heads out. Thank you so much again, and hopefully we'll meet you all in another kind of interesting facet of life in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.